Tonight, Donald Trump's back at his Florida club. He's hosting the Republican retreat there, and I doubt the Republicans got it at a discount. Meanwhile, back at the White House, Trump has left behind a hole, literally. A massive construction site full of dirt and machines and whatever else lives on construction sites. The White House is one of America's most famous landmarks, which people around the world recognize as democracy expressed with a roof and a floor. It's not a palace. Specifically not a palace. It's not a castle. It was never designed to be that. It was designed to be not that. It is a house that belongs to the people of the United States, not to a ruling family, not to a legacy. Donald Trump has taken a piece of American history that belonged to the American people, the East Wing of the White House, and he's torn it down without any review so he can pursue his fever dream of a ballroom covered in gold. In the shadow of Arlington National Cemetery, Trump wants to build a triumphal arch, like the famous one in Paris, which was built by its military dictator, Napoleon. Trump's focus on monuments to himself is ironic, since the number of Americans who disapprove of the job he's done handling the cost of living is now a monumental 76%. 76%. That includes Trump voters. New polling today from Reuters shows that 78% of voters say fuel prices are a very big concern right now. 77% of those voters surveyed also say Donald Trump is to blame for the rise in gas prices. Right now, the national average for a gallon of unleaded self-serve gasoline is $4.05 a gallon. It's way over $6 a gallon in California. Working-class Americans are, in fact, deciding between buying groceries and food, not which gold paint they're going to use on an addition to their house that they don't need. Let me say that again. People in this country are making decisions about survival while Donald Trump is concerned about himself. Right now, Trump and his Republican enablers are in the Trump bubble in Florida. So we went there to ask Florida voters right outside their door what they're dealing with.
I used to fill my tank up. Now I just put $20. Because it is getting pretty expensive. Can't afford to fill the tank up no more.
They're definitely going up. They're for sure going up. I could attest that they're going up. For last year alone, I wasn't spending nearly as much in gas.
This is crazy. Definitely crazy. I mean, especially with everything being so high, food, medical, like I said, gas. Yeah. I'd be more concerned about people's medical than I would gas. I can't get even medical for my mom, who's 82, being denied simple things. I struggle every day, and now I'm taking care of my mom, who's older, being denied simple things like breathing meds. So gas, what are you going to do? So I don't eat this week because I have to take mom to the doctor's tomorrow in Sebastian. So you decide, what's more important, your health. And you've got to make tough choices, and tough choices today is tough for anybody, whether you're from this country or not.
So I don't eat tonight because I got to take mom for her care. In every other developed country in the world, no one ever has to say that. That's the Donald Trump economy in which we're living now. Millions of Americans asking, how can I afford the basics? Do I fill the tank or do I buy groceries? Do I pay for medical care or do I put food on the table? The question isn't whether prices are rising. It's what will I have to give up in order to just keep up? The Florida Senate candidate, the retired Colonel Alexander Vindman, just wrapped up a town hall with voters in Tampa where he heard directly from those voters. Alexander Vindman joins us now. He also served as the Director for European Affairs at the National Security Council during the first administration. Colonel, what are you hearing?
Well, Ali, it's great to be on with you. I'm really grateful for you being able to put those voices on. That's what I'm hearing on the streets. I've crisscrossed the state. I started a statewide tour on Monday, went from down south in Miami all the way up to Tallahassee. I did my filing to run for the U.S. Senate, and then went back down to Miami and now through Orlando into Tampa. Hearing this everywhere. People are struggling. The gas prices is the most evident component. That's occurred over the course of weeks. People have seen $1 or more surge in prices, and now it's a question on top of a housing crisis. Housing costs are too high. We have the highest insurance rates in the country. Medical care costs are too high. They skyrocket after The Republicans cut Affordable Care Act subsidies. Now they got into this war that's creating like huge costs on gas, but it's going to have an impact on everything because fuel and petrochemicals tie into everything. So it's just putting a massive crunch on ordinary people while Donald Trump and the Republicans are at Mar-a-Lago talking about building town halls, gilded town halls, talking about things that are completely irrelevant to everyday life here in Florida. So deeply misaligned priorities, and they're going to pay for it.
How does that resonate with people? Because this is first of all, a state where people do drive a lot. Like not driving in many parts of Florida is not optional, so they drive a lot. There are a lot of Trump supporters in there. We're now seeing Trump disapproval numbers in the 70s, which means it's people who voted for Trump who are actually saying that on the key things that he ran on, including immigration and the economy, they don't approve of how he's doing it. He didn't run on the Iran war. He actually ran against not having wars, and now we've got this, which is directly responsible for the price of gas. Are people making the connection between the fact that this doesn't have to be this way?
They are. They're making this. This is why this race and a whole host of races around the country, all the places that were overlooked as out of play for Democrats, are completely in play because it's the entire political spectrum from Democrats to Republicans and independents that are frankly not really paying attention to politics. They could care less about, Democrat or Republican. They're more concerned about who's going to deliver for them. They're looking for folks that'll be a fighter in their corner. And there's a pretty stark contrast between folks like myself and other veterans that have been public servants delivering for this country and the career politicians that are part of the problem. It's not just Donald Trump. It's those career politicians like my opponent that are happy to sign on to wars overseas, chaos, tariffs, all these other inputs. So there is a clear tidal wave coming against these Republicans. It's people power. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're going to try to do, they're going to try to pull, the rug out from under us with regards to elections. But it doesn't make a difference. People power is coming for them. They overreached. They made huge mistakes, misprioritized, and they're going to pay for it when the midterms come, like they have at every single election since November 2024.
You mentioned the war. I have to ask you about this because I read your book and the books of others around you, the kinds of people who populate the National Security Council, the intelligence arena. Many of you have written master's theses or studied for years about something or even doctoral theses. You know intricacies and details about Eastern Europe that the rest of us will never know and will never need to know. We had those kinds of experts on Iran as well. They knew how this was all going to go down. What's happening in Iran is actually a surprise to virtually no one except, it seems, Donald Trump and those around him.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? The slightly curious knew what was going to happen. You don't have to have a PhD or a master's. Anybody that has read anything about the Middle East, a few articles will know that everything was foreseeable. Donald Trump should have known it if he had read any of his briefings or taken any information. Hegseth, the entire intelligence community could have said that the Strait of Hormuz was a choke point for oil. It's a choke point for other important goods that transit through there, and there was going to be a massive surge. The other thing that was pretty clear is that regime change through these air campaigns is a pipe dream. He got away with it once with regards to Maduro because we have such an exceptional military, and it's a much smaller country. It's in our own backyard. But Iran is not Venezuela. It's a country of 90 million. Yep. It's a massive country. It's an entrenched regime that's been there for 47 years. It was a complete pipe dream that this was going to be an easy war, and all of these consequences were foreseeable. So it's on Donald Trump, but it's also on the Republicans that keep signing off on these. And my opponent, Ashley Moody, is happy to sign on to this entire chaos corruption agenda that's driving up costs. And again, that's why we're going to win these elections.
Congress can put an end to this nonsense. Congress can say, you need to explain to us because we have to explain to our constituents. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, always good to see you. Alexander Vindman is a candidate for Florida Senate.